What's up guys, Jez here from Whiskefy and welcome to another episode of WhiskefyTV, that weekly whiskey TV show where you guys tune in and you watch me talk shit about my favourite bottles. Obviously I'm not too loud today because it is early in the morning, but we do love filming content early in the morning because that's what happens, I guess. So let's kind of kick this one off because it is episode 136. Let me just procure a tasty Whiskefy glass. So dirty glass too. I've been putting these things through the dishwasher lately and it's been a vibe. That looks trash. But you guys are probably wondering what we are drinking, so let me kind of grab this bottle of Benchmark. This is kind of a really interesting one to kind of find on the shelf as I was in Newcastle a few days ago, so I was like, why not grab it and do it for this week's review. So let's get this sucker poured out and then we'll kind of crack in. So screw cap, right, we love it. Next one up, pour. Sexy. Screw that lid back on. Now, let's kind of hook into a few details here. So, McAfee Benchmark number 8. It is 74 proof or 37% ABV. Now, you guys are like, why are we 37% in Australia? I don't even know. Probably like taxes and everything else because it's all just not a good time. But it is non-age stated. Costs about 15 bucks at 80 proof in the US, but in Australia we see it for 37 bucks at 37% or 74 proof. Now, New Charred American Oak and Rye Mash 1 on the mash bill. So let's look into these info and notes. So Benchmark has finally landed down under, but at a sad proof point of 74. Why has it taken so long to land in Australia? I don't even know. That's a South Trade question. Only because, well, you'd think we'd see it because it is on the bottom end of the, I guess, Buffalo Trace family, and we do have majority of the other Buffalo Trace products in Australia other than like Ancient Age. That's about it. Because I'm looking over at the shelf there. You guys won't, oh, you might be able to see it on that camera. Like we've got Blanton's, we've got Buffalo Trace, we've got like Weller's, Eagle Rares there. But yeah, like we don't have any Benchmark, which is really odd, but I move on. So this doesn't take away from the fact that they do use that Rye Mash 1 on the Buffalo Trace recipe tree. Now, in saying that, that basically comes from the same family as what you'll see your Eagle Rares, your GTS's, George T. Staggs, your Staggs, your E.H. Taylor, and obviously the Buffalo Trace mash bill there as well. Now, in case you guys aren't familiar with the story of Benchmark, it basically is a tale of 3 McAfee brothers. Are they related to John McAfee? Probably not, because he's dead. Sad reacts only. They left Virginia to explore uncharted territory in, I guess, the southern part of America, aka Kentucky, right? Now, traveling by canoe, I don't know why that's important, but it was on the Buffalo Trace website. They were like, traveling by canoe, like traveling by canoe across land. I'd hope not. They're not going to get far. They ended up at a nature trail that led to a buffalo crossing, and the boys surveyed it, and now it is what is known as the Buffalo Trace distillery at that one location. Now, came across a native trail. Lucky they didn't call it Buffalo Trail Distillery. So I feel like someone might have a problem with that. spicy. Now, let's cook in. Haven't even had any bourbon this morning. This is where we're at. I didn't even tell you guys. Paused since last spill. I didn't spill any just then, and last week the boys spilled some, so I'm gonna mark that down as a 1. Now, let's kind of hook into these notes here. So, healthy pour. She's super light too. I just realized. I don't know if it's like the black labeling on the bottle. It probably is. It always is. Like black labeling on a bottle always makes the whiskey look darker. Marketing ploy 101 for you. It's crazy because this nose, she is watered down something serious. But in saying that,
I'm not sure I understand.
I'm glad you don't. We're at 6 minutes. Jesus. This is how quickly things run when I'm running the show. We knock things out in like 10 minutes. It's nuts. Alright, so this one's really interesting because when I was like doing the notes and writing the copy and everything else for this, it reminds me of Christmas at the grandparents' house, and I know Pop had spent all day cooking a pork or a turkey or something, and it's like the cinnamon and apple sauce, right? That is my nose on that, and I'm like, that is nuts. That's happy family memories right there. Before the family fell apart. But like everything else I really have to push for. Cinnamon, applesauce, maybe a hint of oak, but everything else kind of feels like dull because obviously like proof down to like 74. It's like, not a good time. Unless you like that stuff, then maybe. But I will move on to the palate there. So as I kind of give that a Kentucky chew, she is low viscosity. Basically it feels like I'm drinking water at this point because obviously, what are we, 63% of the bottle is water. So that makes sense. I kind of forgot where I was going with that. I'll kind of go back in, but I felt like a little bit of spice happening on the side of the tongue there actually as I kind of think about it. So spice down the side of the tongue, but that's really all that's going on there. Give it a bit of a Kentucky chew, just kind of give you guys a bit more. So I'm still seeing a heap of those like apple and caramel notes there as well, which will kind of lead me into the finish there. I really want to know how they got this applesauce note because she is funky. When we do the blinds, it'll be interesting to see if I can pick up this bottle again. So I'm still seeing a heap of like oak on the finish. I like pause like it's something intricate. It's like, no, there's a heap of oak there on that finish, which is good. Reminds me of Eagle Rare, so I'm happy. I'm like, it's perfect. It's probably just a younger Eagle Rare. Like, well, it is. Like, let's be real. So yeah, it's just like a heap of those like dried oak, tannic-y notes on the finish there. Tannic's probably not even a word, but who cares? We're making things up. And then obviously like those caramels and just those apples. It's like, I'd say like it's borderline apple pie at this point. Like Woolies, apple pie, we'll go super regional. Like, y'all won't even get it. But all in all, hey, it's not trash. And I didn't cover the finish, but I just looked down at my book to move on to the next thing, and I did get a medium finish on it. Obviously not much of that would change. Yeah, I'd say it's like a medium finish. Like those oak notes do linger a little bit longer, but hey, it's solid. Now, moving on to the bi-barrel pass and a couple of cheeky little points to get across to you guys as well. So from the top is a great price point for the Aussie market. So as everyone knows, we are all bogans here and we just love drinking bourbon. Number 1 or 2? No, number 1 for Jack Daniels internationally, and then number 2 for bourbon globally for like import market. So yeah, like we like love it, love this stuff. So seeing this land at like 37% at $37, and if you just want to burn this with Coke or sip it neat, go nuts. Now, next one up, the finish was impressive considering it's 37%. So those oak notes still shine through. So I don't actually know how old it is, but for it to have enough time in the barrel there to get that good oak tannic notes kind of pull through, I'm like, this is a good time. And third one up, it's just super one-dimensional. Like, I like to get a lot more notes out of my whiskey, as everyone does. It's, I guess, reviewing bottles and basically living in the cinnamon, applesauce, oak, maybe a little bit of caramel. It's like 4 over 3 different kind of things. It's just like, I need a little bit more, but I can't hate on a bottle that's $37 at 700 mils. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Obviously the price point for like other bottles, we'd go up against like Madeline Moore, which is, I think I said 70% neutral grain spirits and 30% 2-year-old whiskey. And I don't mind that stuff when doing it in a shit blind, because that like it stands out as being one of the best. So it's like it holds up. And then there's this new stuff called Kentucky, brought in by another mob in Melbourne, and that's about the same price as well at the same proof point. So it'll be interesting to try that. So, you know, I guess this kind of hits the market nicely. So South Trade or Sazerac did a good job at kind of picking this one. I'm gonna mark this down as a buy. I guess I'd pick up another bottle when I finish it, like it's $37. I'm sure I'd even be able to get a 10% discount code for like BWS or something and pick it up for cheaper. So that knocks like $3.70 off. And we're like, hey, we like whiskey cheaper. $34 for this in a perfect world. I'm like, not too bad. Anyway, I'm gonna leave you guys there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed me being back solo. It feels odd not having the fiends here and dragging the episode out for like half an hour. It's wild. But we love them, we love me. I love me. No one else is gonna love me. Like, they probably would have stuck around. Spice. Love it. Anyway, love you guys. Happy. This is gonna drop Friday. It's not really Friday. Nah, you guys get it on Friday. Hopefully we're back to normal content schedule by next week. But anyway, love you guys. Stay thirsty. I'm Jez. That's Benchmark. Stay thirsty. Peace.